This is a big story. A week to 10 days ago, Judy Woodruff of PBS News went out on the air and actually tried to claim that Trump was trying to kill a ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas because he didn't want the advancement of peace until he gets into office. It would make him look bad. So he had had a call with Bibi Netanyahu in which he discouraged him from striking such a deal. Here is her original, quote, reporting.
The reporting is that former President Trump is on the phone with the Prime Minister of Israel, urging him not to cut a deal right now because it's believed that would help the Harris campaign. So I don't know where that, I don't know, who knows whether that will come about or not. But I have to think that the Harris campaign would like for President Biden to do what presidents do, which is work on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so two allegations in there. That Trump was on the phone with Bibi, and secondly, that he was discouraging him from striking a deal. And I guess the third is because he's worried it would help Kamala Harris. All right, those are the three allegations. Then she comes out after the fact because Team Trump started hitting her immediately, saying this is totally irresponsible and untrue. She comes out via tweet. I want to clarify my remarks on the PBS News special on Monday night about the ongoing ceasefire talks in the Middle East. As I said, this was not based on my original reporting. I was referring to reports I had read in Axios and Reuters about former President Trump having spoken to the Israeli Prime Minister. In the live TV moment, I repeated the story because I hadn't seen later reporting that both sides denied it. This was a mistake, and I apologize for it. Okay, so I and many others said, okay, did Axios and Reuters report what she's claiming? Was it, in fact, their fault? And she just repeated a claim made by two other outlets that was untrue? Because if that's true, then they were patient zero in the spread of this misinformation. So we went back and checked. The Reuters report we were able to determine only cited Axios. So they were admitting we didn't do any original reporting. We're basing our report here on Axios. And what Reuters cited to was the fact that they had denied, I think is what they had reported, that they had denied that they had engaged in such a phone call. Axios did ultimately report that they were denying they'd had a phone call. And so that left us wondering, well, what was Axios's original report? Because they labeled the report we could find and Reuters found as updated. Now, sometimes when these outlets engage in bad reporting, they update and then they scrub the original without owning it. We saw the Minneapolis Star-Tribune do that last week. So we're still trying to figure out whether Woodruff is the villain or Axios is the villain. And we went and tried to pull the original Axios report. Well, it wasn't available via the Wayback Machine of the internet. I don't know how that thing works, but my producers tell me Axios doesn't subscribe to it, and therefore its reports could not be found there. So Yashar Ali, who's an independent journalist, and he was the one who broke the story about Judy to begin with, went back to Axios and Reuters and said, did you ever, as she is claiming, report that the two men had a conversation and in it, Trump discouraged Bibi from entering into a ceasefire, and the reasoning was Trump didn't want to help Kamala Harris politically. And he's now published his answer, the answer he got. I'm scrolling down here. Obviously, he says this was a major allegation by Judy Woodruff. It would mean that Netanyahu was sacrificing the lives of the hostages and the security of Israel for Donald Trump's candidacy, and that Donald Trump was trying to keep the hostages and civilians in Gaza in harm's way for political purposes. When people pushed back against her, Woodruff tweeted that she had relied on Axios and Reuters reporting on the matter, but admits that Trump and Netanyahu had denied the reporting. She apologized for the oversight, but her tweet was inaccurate. Yashar's nicer than I am. She lied. As I noted last week, Axios and Reuters never reported that Netanyahu was being urged by Trump not to take a hostage deal. They had just reported that Trump and Netanyahu spoke about Gaza. That was the original reporting. But to be sure, I went back to check a few things and also asked Axios for comment. First, the Reuters report that Woodruff cited was just a pickup of the Axios story. The Axios story Woodruff cited had been updated to reflect Netanyahu's denial that he and Trump ever discussed Gaza and a hostage deal. A spokesperson for Axios then confirmed to Yashar that they never reported that Trump was said to have been discouraging Netanyahu from taking the deal. This is Axios on the record saying, we never reported what Judy Woodruff is claiming we did. Yashar continues, not only were Woodruff's on-air comments inaccurate, but her apology tweet also said that Axios and Reuters reported something they never did. Neither publication even stepped into the area that she suggested. He writes, I have followed up with PBS for comment. She lied. She lied on the air to try to make Trump look like a callous douchebag who placed his own electoral chances above the safety of American hostages, Israeli hostages in harm's way. And then she lied when she was caught and called out by trying to blame Axios, who did not commit the sin she accused them of. And she's failed to take responsibility. She is caught red-handed. And this is an organization, PBS, we fund, Michael Knowles.
We fund it. You're absolutely right. It's great that you delved into this, and then Yashar provided that final little confirmation there. But as you say, it comes down to two words, she lied. And the way that you could have known that she lied before looking into any of this are another two words in her initial comments. The reporting. The reporting was doing a whole lot of work in her accusations against Donald Trump. It's kind of like another two words that pop up often in liberal attacks on conservatives. Critics say. It's always critics say. They never tell us exactly who those critics are, but the critics supposedly hate these Republicans, and they make all sorts of allegations against them. Had she been relying on actual news reports, she would have cited them in her initial comments.
Yes.
What she was engaging in was... Yes, exactly. It was gossip mongering. It was inventing gossip and rumors to attack Trump. And this is par for the course. We've seen this since 2015. You know, sources are saying, reports are alleging that Donald Trump colluded with the Russians, and that Donald Trump, remember they said he hired hookers in a hotel room in Moscow? They never provided any evidence for that. And sources are alleging that he's corresponding, I don't know, with the KGB or this, that, or the other thing. Now that he's working with Bibi Netanyahu, who has absolutely no incentive, by the way. Just think about how insane this story is on the face. That Bibi Netanyahu is willing to sacrifice Israeli lives because he just sort of likes Donald Trump, and he thinks that maybe down the line Trump will be a little more supportive than Biden or Harris. When both parties are broadly supportive of Israel, I guess the Republicans are better for Israel than Democrats. But what incentive does he have to do any of that? It's just totally bogus. But this is what happens when you've exhausted every attack on Donald Trump for 8 years. Come 2024, you just have to make stuff up.
Let's play the Judy Woodruff shot again, where she tells the lie. So like now that we know it's a lie, it's not a mistake, because if it was a mistake, her apology would have owned that and said, you know what, I'm genuinely sorry. I don't know where I got that from. Axios had reported that there was a phone call and I leapt to a conclusion, and that was a failure of mine as a reporter. That's not what she did. She blamed the most incendiary parts of her allegation, that they were talking and Trump was trying to get him to stop the ceasefire in order to help his campaign, or not help Kamala's campaign. Judy Woodruff made that up in her head and then reported it as based on reporting. And then when she got caught, she doubled down by saying, well, that was just based on reporting and I hadn't seen the updated. No, here's the original sin again. Now look at this now, knowing what we know.
The reporting is that former President Trump is on the phone with the Prime Minister of Israel, urging him not to cut a deal right now, because it's believed that would help the Harris campaign. So I don't know where that, I don't know, who knows whether that will come about or not. But I have to think that the Harris campaign would like for President Biden to do what presidents do, which is work on that one. Yeah.
Look at that. All the assumptions go in Harris's favor. Like, of course, she wants to do what's right. And of course, Trump wants to do it wrong. It's just such a glaring example of the disgusting, corrupt media bias that is ubiquitous in our media, and indeed in the coverage of this campaign, in a way that no political candidate could ever even hope to pay for.
Notice, Megyn, even just the definite article there. It's not a report. It's not some reporting. It's the reporting, as though there were some definitive reporting that in a publicly funded outlet now, we are going to rely, not their own reporting, they're not doing any work, but just the reporting. And what ultimately we discover is the reporting. It's this woman's imagination. And even beyond an innocent imagination, it's this woman's, it's the establishment media's lies, false fictional narrative to benefit Harris and to harm Trump.
It's just absolutely lazy. I mean, whatever. She was looking to fill time. She filled it with a lie that exposed her bias. None of that is good. But then you go back and fix it. Then you go back. Then the tweet says, I'm a dumbass. I am very sorry. I was wrong. I was very wrong. And don't try to bring Axios and Reuters down with you on your fake reporting. She's disparaged them both. And really, PBS must answer for this. They must answer for this. We're going to stay on them too, demanding to know what, if anything, they're going to do. Will there be disciplinary action? Will they force her to issue a proper correction and apology? Because she has not apologized for her actual sin right now. If you did not vote for this economic downturn, and who did? Well, we know who did. And the high inflation, you might want to do something about it. Right now, you're paying for it at the pump, the grocery store, growing stacks of unpaid bills sitting there. Financial stress can be crushing, and one solution could be donewithdebt.com. Done With Debt created new aggressive strategies designed to get you out of debt permanently without bankruptcy or loans. Done With Debt can stand between you and bill collectors. They negotiate with your creditors to write off balances, cut interest, stop penalties, and the best news is, Done With Debt is accepting new clients right now. But you need to hurry because some of their debt strategies are time sensitive and you don't want to miss out. Let Done With Debt hit the debt reset button for you and make your money yours again. Visit donewithdebt.com or call 1-888-322-1054 now. Chat with one of their relief strategists for free. Donewithdebt.com, donewithdebt.com. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.